Hello everyone and welcome back to the Cybersecurity Training by MindMajix. Once again, let's begin up with these topics. What is virtual machine? What is Virtualbox? What is VMware? Where will you get the IS of the Kali Linux and how to spin up Kali Linux as a virtual machine? First of all, let us consider what is virtual machine itself. I'll just tell you in a very short way. Let us suppose there is a hardware box here and just we could name it as something hardware stuffs. Here your RAM and other would be considered. Now let us suppose you have something to be like using over it. Now you have to run an OS. Where will this OS run? OS will run above this right here. Okay, so this OS will be running here. What happens is at once the hardware allows only one OS to run. But what if you have to use more than one OS on a particular device? What will you do? It's quite handy and simple. You will do another box here and it would be running as a guest OS. That's what we call it. So what to do when you have to run a guest OS? You have to just install some softwares that would work for you. Like they will create a virtual space for you, a sandbox area where you can run your guest OS. These OS will have a little interaction or nearly no interaction between them. It is because sometimes you will need to exchange file between them, so those interactions are mandatory. And when considering, if you don't have like if you don't want to use this guest OS, what will you do in that case? You will have to just use your hardware and you will just boot up in two OS. One OS is here and other OS is here. They will overlap a little because of the file system used in them. See what will happen. There will be one OS here and one OS here. When you boot up, it will ask you which OS do you want to go. Either you want to go in the OS 1 or you want to go in the OS. It will be like your choice where you want to go. But in both the case, they will use the same hardware. Yes, it is more efficient, yet they won't have much interaction between them, so you will like lose the interest in it and won't be able to use it up to the much extent. What is preferable is this one, to use the hardware and the OS and then use like some VMware and VirtualBox types of softwares to make some guest OS on it. So if you have an OS and you have to make multiple guest OS, yes, you can do it. I can do it in like mini boxes. It's upon you how much space and RAM you want to give to that. On an average, we used to give to like GB of RAM to a device, to an OS guest OS, and we used to give at least 30 GB, or if you don't have much storage, then at least like lowest is 8 GB of storage. Now, what is VirtualBox and what is VMware and what are the difference between them? See, VirtualBox is a product of Oracle. Oracle is a company. They have made it open source and free for everyone. So it has a lot of like community and people are there to help you. They are ready to help you in each and every path you choose for VirtualBox. They will teach you, they'll guide you, they'll help you diagnose through your problems and to troubleshoot your problems. Another big feature of VirtualBox is it provides you unlimited number of snapshots. Snapshots is something like there is a difference between ISO and snapshot images. What is ISO? ISO is the base image, or we can say is the base of like particular OS you are going to use. It has nothing installed in it. For example, if you install an Ubuntu, it won't have the latest penetration testing tools. So Ubuntu and Windows, when you install it completely new, it has nothing pre-installed in it, no softwares are there. That is the ISO. But these snapshot images, they are taken on the very moment the OS has like all the features. For example, I installed the Ubuntu or a Windows, I installed some software in it, and then I took the snapshot of it. So the new ISO image formed and saved. That image will consist all the new software and whatever the tools I have installed in it. Coming on the VMware, what is VMware? It is a product of VMware itself. It's a good company. and we will be discussing about VMware Player and VMware Player Pro. You can find those cracks, but what I would recommend is those are only for educational purposes. You would go for the paid version. Before taking the paid version, use free version when you get hands on in it and you know how to use it, how to make full use of it. You can just switch on to the paid version and take the premiums. See, VMware is quite easy because it provides drag and drop feature between host and VM, host OS and guest OS. As I told you in the previous slide, what happens is there is a quite interaction between host OS and guest OS. This is provided by VMware tools. You can just drag and drop file from your base OS to host OS and guest OS and guest OS to host OS. But the problem is very you can take very limited number of snapshots of a particular ISO in a free version of VMware Player. But if you take the premium version, you can take unlimited. In this course, I'll just go with the VMware Player because it's quite easy and workstations are they are quite handy for the beginners. If you would go over the Virtualbox, you will have to consider and configure some of the things, which is quite typical for you right now. We'll just go with VMware, and I'll tell you how to install it each and everything. You have to just install it like any other software. Now, coming on the topic, where will you get the ISO of the Kali Linux? The very first thing you should know is there is an official page of Kali Linux, which I'll navigate you through. See, if you type Kali Linux, it will give you the very first link to the official page of that Kali Linux by Offensive Security. See here. Offensive Security is the company organization which is responsible for any kind of modification, alteration, or changes in Kali Linux OS. What you have to do, simply go on the downloads here, click here. The download page of the Kali Linux is here. If you want ISO and install it in direct host OS or dual boot mode, you could just go through here. I cannot show you the dual boot live here because while booting I cannot record my screen. In case if you need to learn about dual boot, you can just ask the question in the what we say question answer forum and you can get answers from there. See, these are the various options of the Kali Linux you want to install. The Netenter is available for Android itself, so it is quite small in size. But we need VMware one. See, mine one is 32-bit. I'll go with this. If you have a good device, you could just go for 64-bit if it works in your device, and in VirtualBox 64-bit and in VirtualBox 32-bit. One thing you should note here is you will have to enable the virtualization in your BIOS menu. If you don't know how to do it, just go on the forum and resources section. You will be provided steps to do it. I cannot do it live here because while I'll be doing this, I cannot record my screen itself. Again, the same problem will persist. Now see, I'll just go with this download. I've already downloaded this in my drive. I'll just pause on my video and I'll let you download it and we'll be back here in a minute of you. Okay, hope you have downloaded the RAR file. I'll recommend you go hands with me so that you won't be left behind for any kind of activity. And if you fall in something, so after downloading, you will get a RAR file. On extracting that RAR file, you will get this kind of folder. This is my snapshot. I saved it. You will get this. The most important part is this VM virtual machine configuration file and this one. This will help you to open your virtual machine. You have two alternative options to open it. Either you could just double tap here and the virtual machine will be opening in VMware itself and it would pop up with a query whether you have copied it or you have moved it here. Just click on that I have copied it here. And the other method that I was talking about opening is you can just go into your VMware workstation. You could just click on the file. You could just scan or open the machine from your C. Scan for virtual machines. It will show you here. And if you would go for the open option, you would have to navigate to the directory and open it. I have already opened it here. See, Here it is. I have paused it. You have to just do this. It will pop up here with I copied it or I moved it here. You would just do it. I copied it here. It's the most secure option you could use. Okay, I'll just spin it up and then you will just click on the play option or like start the machine or resume this virtual machine and just give it a few minutes. It would just open. In my case, it's restoring. In your case, it would boot from the completely new phase and you will get your virtual machine of Kali Linux. Meanwhile, if you need the like mechanism how to boot up your machine, just ask us in the resources or forum section. We'll guide you through it. How to boot. Okay, so here it is. Just a few more seconds. It's spinning up. I just love the way it spins up. It's quite handy. In later on lectures, we will shift to Oracle VirtualBox if needed, but right now we'll be using VMware itself. So this is my virtual machine. This is option for full screen. This is for sidebars. It will show you how many virtual machines you have right now in your device. I have quite a lot. You won't need this much. Make sure you don't give extras like disk space or RAM to virtual machine. If you have RAM of 4 GB in your like hardware device, main device, don't give more than 1 GB RAM to this virtual machine because your system will lag a lot. And if you like have 8 GB RAM in your device like mine, you should just give 2 GB of RAM to this virtual machine. And if talking about space, give at least 8 GB of space to it, and maximum could be 30 to 35 GB. You won't need more than that in Kali Linux, as Linux doesn't require much space to work. I'll just make it a full screen and show you like Linux interaction screen. This is like minimizing. I was doing some nmapping scans. I'll show you how to do that. And these are the like mousepad to type something. Hello, MindMajix here. So these are the things you could do here. That's all for this video.